Now, there's some debate amongst gardening experts whether you should be feeding your garden this time of the year. And the answer is, well, plants feed just like us, small amounts every day, and they're going to be very healthy. So yes, you should be, but you have to be enormously careful about what type of fertiliser you use and how much you apply. If you are careful, you're doing the right thing. If you're not, you can do an enormous amount of harm to our environment. Now, our underground water supply naturally flows into the sea and into our river systems, and even worse for the environment is excess that runs off our gardens and driveways and roads, reaching stormwater drains and then flowing directly into the river systems. And if that water's laden with nutrient, well, it's an absolute disaster for our ecosystems. So, what is the right garden fertiliser? Well, that is a good question, and it was a question that was considered by an organisation called Circle. Now, it's the South East Regional Centre for Urban Land Care. Now, the results of the extensive research program found that there was only one organisation producing fertilisers that currently meet this very strict environmental condition. Now, it's a brand of fertiliser that you've probably not heard of, but you need to know about. They're called Shades of Green. Now, this was the first fertiliser to receive the Fertilise Wise accreditation, a symbol that helps consumers decide what fertiliser they use based on its suitability to our unique gardening environment, whilst reducing environmental impact. Shades of Green have developed fertilisers, both garden and separate lawn fertilisers, especially for West Australian conditions. Now, this is critical because they take into account the fact that we have such sandy soils, and by doing that, it means that our waterways are going to be so much healthier. The binder is a naturally occurring mineral called zeolite. That's an amazing product that holds nutrients and slowly releases them to the plant's roots, just as the plants need it. There's another beneficial component of this fertiliser that more and more gardeners are starting to understand and appreciate. They're known as humates, and effectively they're a natural compost originating from ancient plants that have long decomposed and turned into a rich carbon-based mineralised soil improver. It's going to stimulate life in your soil unlike anything else. Now, I want to explain why it's so important to me that you consider using these new Shades of Green garden and lawn fertiliser. You see, I've got a creek that runs through my property, and it's really important to me that the birds, the fish, all the other creatures that use this creek are healthy and not poisoned through excess nutrients. Now, there's actually a knock-on effect. You see, if I'm doing the right thing here, my neighbours further down the creek, well, their ecosystem is equally as healthy, and that's absolutely critical. Now, of course, the same rule applies for everybody who lives in Perth. You see, we live on the sandplain, and what we put on our gardens and allow to wash down stormwater drains is going to affect the health of the Swan River. So we've all got to do the right thing. Once upon a time, ignorance would have been an excuse for using the wrong fertiliser, but now the research is in and we know that Shades of Green is the right fertiliser to be using for our environment. Well, we all need to get behind this small West Australian company and support them. You see, if we do that, then the big guys are going to change what they're doing and they're going to get behind it too. And if all the fertiliser companies produce environmentally friendly fertilisers, well, it means that our environment's in far better shape. It means we're passing on to our children a better environment, better than the one that we live in today.